It seems like over the last few years, more and more celebrities have started talking openly about their relationship with alcohol. Florence Welch, Calvin Harris, Brad Pitt. These are just a few of the celebs who have been talking about the importance of vulnerability and positive change in this particular area. And now, Blue Blood star Vanessa Ray has opened up about her relationship with alcohol as well, and how working on the CBS series was the indirect cause of her drinking habits slowly becoming a daily thing, which is an all the more interesting story because it's not like Ray was new to the industry when she signed on to Blue Bloods. In fact, many amongst us will still remember Ray for her turn as the infamous CC Drake on Pretty Little Liars. But Ray has had a recurring role as Eddie in Blue Bloods since 2013, a series that revolves around a family of New York cops. Most of Ray's storylines throughout the years have centered around her romantically charged relationship with her coworker, Jamie Reagan. And no matter what, Eddie has definitely become a fan favorite. But success doesn't always equal a happy, stable life. And Ray has now admitted that it has come with unexpected and additional struggles that she wasn't prepared for. Ray came clean about her many demons when she made an appearance on Women on Top. She talked about everything from navigating a bipolar disorder to her relationship with alcohol. No stone was left unturned in the 53-minute episode, and one thing became abundantly clear in that sharp interview: drugs and alcohol unequivocally played a role in the actor's journey to today. But before you judge, things like these are rarely as black and white as they seem on the surface when you don't have a personal experience with it. Because before Ray joined the cast of Blue Bloods, she probably had 1 to 3 drinks a year.
I can't believe you're gonna trust this. I'm gonna trust this character to me.
Before Vanessa Ray joined Blue Bloods, she only had 1 to 3 drinks every year. So how did she end up crying at a bar because she'd been cut off at some point in her life? The actor remembers that everything had felt very scary back then. It had been fine in the beginning when she was fully booked and too scared to mess up her performance to risk staying out too late and indulging in the city's nightlife. But that slowly started to shift once Ray became a staple in Blue Bloods.
You want a piece of my partner. You gotta go through me.
You put your life on the line, Jamie, and maybe that was heroic, but it was also very reckless, and you just Eddie today.
Well, since this morning, the future Mrs.
And she moved to New York permanently. Suddenly, her schedule wasn't very overwhelming anymore. Now, Ray only had to focus on one specific role, a role that she soon knew like the back of her hand. And even though she and her husband had been newlyweds at the time, they were living on opposite coasts, and her idle hands just got the best of her. Ray had been searching for something, anything, to make her unaware. It was a turning point for the actor and her relationship with alcohol. And before she knew it, she was drinking every day. But while she wanted to stop, there was the worry about what vice would take its place if she did. Ray acknowledges that she still struggles with feelings of shame and still beats herself up for not having gotten her together sooner. But at the end of the day, it's all part of the journey. Ultimately, it also forced Ray to end the facade that she'd put up for herself and the world and seek real help. So when it comes down to it, Ray is actually pretty grateful for the ride. And even though it hasn't always been easy, Ray is still happily married to Landon Beard after tying the knot back in 2015. Fans are happy it all turned out for the best, and we can't wait to see more of this talented actor in Blue Bloods. Unfortunately, we can't say that for every character on the series.
You fall behind, I'll wait up.
I'll earn your respect and pay you respect.
In fact, Blue Bloods fans are pretty tired of Eddie's boss in season 13. We've all had the unfortunate luck to have had to work with someone who seems to have it in for us. Whether it's through the kind of neglect that makes you feel invisible, or the kind of hyper-focus that makes you feel like there's a giant target on your back, being bullied by someone who has power over your livelihood is just on another level of disappointment. Jamie and Eddie knew that it was going to be tricky to work together going into the situation. But their new boss in season 13, Captain Paula McNichols, is making it even more complicated than it has to be, as there are no actual laws preventing Eddie and Jamie from working together. It still doesn't sit well with Captain McNichols. She vehemently believes that married couples working together can lead to corruption. And I guess Paula would rather be safe than sorry? But then again, this isn't exactly new information. The first time Eddie and Jamie found out that Captain McNichols had a problem with them was back in season 10, remember? Back then, Captain McNichols was still Sergeant McNichols, and she spent pretty much all her time second-guessing every move Eddie was even thinking about making. And you know what? It has not been fun, and we would like Paula to go now. There have literally been dozens of characters that served as points of conflict against the Reagans in Blue Bloods, from the anti-police Reverend Potter and the various mayors who have gone up against Commissioner Frank Reagan, not to mention serial killers and even whole cartels who previously targeted Danny Reagan. Yet Captain Paula McNichols is proving to be a bit too much for all of us. Seriously, fans are so ready to say goodbye to this particularly irksome adversary of Eddie and Jamie's. Of course, we're aware that Paula was introduced as a point of conflict. She's supposed to be unlikable, so it's not a surprise that Paula hasn't exactly made any fans herself. But there's just something about this character that seems to cross a line too far for most fans. Some think it's simply because McNichols is a poorly rendered character. Many discussions on Reddit have come back down to the same point. Paula has no point, which makes it all the more confusing that she continues to get a pretty decent amount of screen time. Did the writers of Blue Bloods fall in love with this character, or some reason that we know nothing about yet? Because all we see now is a Captain Nichols who seems to be unrealistically harsh on the married couple, and for no other reason than her personal conviction that a married couple working together could lead to corruption. Why does Nichols have this personal vendetta against Eddie and Jamie? I mean, the first thing she says to them following her promotion is how they will be transferred by the end of the day. Now, the Reagans wouldn't be the Reagans if they didn't find a way to sidestep Paula's ridiculous ultimatum. But still, fans have had enough of this power-tripping character. Could it be that there is a storyline waiting to unfold? Something that would explain exactly why McNichols has been so uptight and merciless? Let's hope so, because whether we like her or not, it's unlikely that we've seen the last of Captain Paula McNichols now she's been newly promoted. Anyway, so far, the story of how Vanessa Ray was drinking almost every night after starting to work on Blue Bloods. And I vented about why Blue Bloods fans are really tired of Eddie's boss in season 13. Hopefully, it will be revealed that McNichols has some kind of point very soon. Or else.